Boyue devices' home screens have always been very jam-packed, and they always have these widgets that you can't really move. It is still nice though, you can change the quotations at least. It's not really an Android home screen to the point where you can put wallpapers, but why would you want to? It's an e-reader. So you have home, back, refresh, and this actually acts as A2 mode as well while doing the refresh. You do have multi-window as well, showing you everything that's running, everything, how much it's taking up, and you have a cleaner sweep as well, so you don't have to download a clean sweep app. You do have books, notes, and apps under separate tabs. You have all of your apps that you've recently opened here, recently added, and recently read. This does come with some books as well out of the box. You have a lot of settings here. We're not going to go through every single one because it's basically the same as every other device, and that's not what we're focusing on in this device's review. You do have a hardware button at the bottom as well, and that takes you to the home screen. This thing, what it is basically, this device is a Mars with a MIMAS power to it. So think of this as the iPhone SE. The iPhone SE was basically an iPhone 6 internals and an iPhone 5 body. This is the MIMAS internals with a stylus layer and everything inside the Mars's body. The reading experience on the Likebook is really customizable. You do have a lot of options on here. You have quick navigate with the slider bar, and this is the one we want to focus on though. We have fonts where you can load in your own, and you have this triple button here, and you can actually change to Chinese fonts or any of the ones you've loaded in yourself. Out of the box it doesn't have very many, but you'll see these other customizations that will blow your mind because no other device does this. If you click on here, you have italic, and if you're thinking, oh, it'll just do what I choose it to do, no, it's going to do the entire book in italic. And you can do bold, and you can do italic bold. So that was really interesting. They do take it a step further other than just having line spacing typeset. If you click the three dots, you have row spacing, word interval, word spacing, left and right distance, upper and lower distance. You got to be careful because you can make this thing look kind of goofy if you make the word distance too great, but it's nice to have that customization. That is full-blown customization. You have contrast, auto page turner, landscape orientation, and they split it just like kind of Onyx does, where they do the word weight and they do the picture weight. So you actually can isolate separate elements of your book. You have landscape orientation as well. If you click on the little gear, you have some reading settings, how you want to change the pages. If you hold near the top of the screen, bottom, ordinary mode, rapid mode, refresh, display bottom, information bar, enable to control the font size with 2 fingers, etc. So this is a really customizable experience. You can see you can even pinch and zoom, so to speak, by controlling, basically like it said, the font size with 2 fingers. You do have all the other, all the simple functionality of copy, underline, annotation, wiki, translation, and page turns. Well, we don't have to focus on page turn speed because that stopped being an issue back in 2012. Something that Boyue does that basically no other e-readers really do is they put microphones on their e-readers. For example, this is a sound recording test for the Boyue. If I press stop and press play, sound recording test for the Boyue. It recorded what I said. I mean, you won't find yourself using it a whole lot, but it is amazing how this device does have a microphone. So the note-taking experience is probably the most interesting thing about this, is because you're going to focus on this a lot. If we select the ink pen, you see you can have thick lines or thinner lines, and that's because you are allowed to use the pressure sensitivity on that. If you want the same line all the way through, you select the pencil. You do have the ability to choose black and white as your colors, and you can do line width, so you can make that very big. Eraser, you can do range eraser, track eraser, or all erase. Track eraser is basically tracks you. Range eraser, you select a range, and all erase erases everything. If I go back to my pencil and make a box with a little mistake dot in it, I can choose my lasso tool. Now, unfortunately, fortunately, you can change a bunch of the aspect, but you can't change the height or the width, it always has to lock the aspect, which is a little bit limiting because if I want to stretch this image, I can't. I can only make it bigger or make it smaller. You do have backgrounds as well. Backgrounds are very nice, and you do get a lot of them. You get columns, axis, time, schedule, pinyin. That's for Mandarin Chinese characters. You do get a lot of functionality with this. You can see if it looks like everything is gone, don't fear. Click the top left corner, and that will actually bring you back into it. You can create new pages, and you can actually copy this page into a new page. If you make a mistake, you can go revoke, which is basically undo. They just name it differently. And you do have ban mode, which bans the capacitive layer of this so you can actually write better. But there's no issue with that because even with 5 points on the page, there's absolutely no delay. So the ban mode thing is just for just in case, but really it's not necessary because this thing has very good palm rejection technology. If you want to see a full note-taking review, you'll have to wait to see on our YouTube channel for the more in-depth version. The Muses is very good at note-taking because when you're on the PDF and you're turning pages like so, left and right and left, you can actually just start drawing right away and you get all the level of pressure sensitivity and everything else you'd get on the note-taking experience. Eraser even works on the back of the pen. You do get quick navigate and you do have some stuff up top, and this is basically some of the things you'll have in the note-taking experience. You'll have some of the eraser settings, pen, ballpoint, and black and white ink. If you choose white, you'll just start erasing some of the imagery into the darkness or the whiteness of the background. Now, if you click the center, you do get some options, but not a whole lot. You do get contrast settings, but the contrast settings are very extreme. For example, if you go to original, it's actually quite dark. And if you go to deeper, everything just kind of blacks out on you. Although shallowest and shallower look really good, so it's kind of hard to find that middle ground, but they have a solution for it. If you click the 3 dots, you're able to change the grayscale and the brightness of the file, and that's really cool because the sky's the limit with this whole slider bar combination. You get thousands of different combinations, and you also have typesetting, so you can fit to corners, fit to width, auto, and you do have watermark removal, landscape orientation, and rearrange. Rearrange will allow you to rearrange it in font size, word spacing, and row spacing. You can see it finally kicked into that because I didn't give it time to render. You also have some reading settings, but that just basically takes you back to the reading settings that were on the book. You do have the ability to pinch and zoom as well, but there is no minimap, so you don't really know where you are on the page. It is pretty good, the pinching and zooming. It's not the best, but it doesn't really stutter or anything. I really would like to see a minimap somewhere, because if you do zoom in too much to, say, a corner and you don't really know where you are on the page, you don't want to keep moving around, because it doesn't matter what e-reader you're using, pinching and zooming on PDFs is never a good experience. Now, Boyue has never really focused on the App Store. As you can see, there's only 10 of them, and if you scroll to the bottom, it says there's no more. The beauty is, on the other hand, is that this is full Android, so you can just sideload in apps if you want. You can go to your computer, sideload them into your device, and then you can go to your apps menu here, and then you have your file manager, and you can just find the apps and install it. So you're not locked out. It's just Boyue doesn't really focus on the App Store experience. We, however, do, and we have an App Store with over 55,000 apps. It's the Goody Reader App Store. It loads right on, no problem. So if you click on the little sunshine up here, you have the ability to lower and raise the intensity of the light, and you can switch from the little sunlight to the moon, which basically changes it from the blue LEDs to the orange LEDs and back and forth. Now, unlike a lot of other manufacturers, so for example, if these are the blue LEDs and the orange LEDs are in between like that, Boyue can only turn one set on at a time. You can't mix them to really control the white balance. It flickers like that. Whereas a lot of e-readers now, you can kind of ease in one or the other to create almost a perfect stone white, whereas Boyue only allows you to toggle between the two. People have spoke and Boyue answered. They gave you the Muses. The Muses is, if you're just joining us, the Likebook Mars body with the power of all of the Mimas. The Mimas is a 10.3-inch beast, and if you don't want the big size and you want all the functionality, that's what the Muses is for. And it's 2019 and they come out with this. This is a really, really modern device. It feels really 2019-esque. Now, we see some devices from some other companies and they feel a little bit dated, but this one's running the latest version of Android available on e-ink devices. It has USB-C, it has a microphone on it, it comes with a screen protector and a case. This thing is actually right where you want to be when it comes to this size of devices. We're going to be doing some comparisons and some other videos on this in the future, so stay tuned to youtube.com/goodyreader. And for Goody Reader and a review of the Likebook Muses by Boyue, this is Peter.